What is going on, gentlemen? Welcome to the video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I put together a fantastic, all-inclusive, encompassing guide to everything I understand about flow state. This is going to be step-by-step action to tapping into your brain's most powerful state and function for any sort of task you set to use it in. I got my electrolytes, just finished up some ground beef and rice. I'm feeling fantastic. We're going to jump right into this. Who am I? If you are just watching my content for the first time, I am a 22-year-old entrepreneur, a young man of Christ, self-improvement enthusiast, and I am purpose-driven. Here are the things that I have used flow state for. My business, all right? I use flow state all the time to lock in and work on the most difficult tasks at the beginning of each day, and it has been incredibly useful for knocking out the most difficult things. My lifts, I often hop into flow state using my breathing techniques and get completely lost and enjoying the moment, getting jacked. You know, maybe I'm not the most bulky, like jacked physique you've ever seen, but I got a pretty solid physique, and I would say it's above average, and using flow state as 100% helps me with my physique. I use it on walks all the time. It becomes a meditative experience in which I am lost and just enjoying the present moment. Flow state is amazing. It has helped me improve just about every single area in my life. These are just a couple of areas, but it literally has helped me. Whenever I set out to do a difficult task, flow state has helped me. Tapping into this state of mind consistently has led to an undeniably positive change in my life. Here's what I looked like before I even understood what flow state was, before I even, knew how to apply it to the things in my life. Mental fog, zero ability to focus. It was so awful. All I would do was play video games, scroll on my phone, watch YouTube. So bad. Zero ambition, low testosterone, lack of purpose, no online income, and not jacked. I was kind of skinny fat. This is a little bit into my lifting journey. I had a little bit of muscle, but I was mostly skinny fat. Now, after learning how to tap into flow state, mentally sharp. I can focus for hours. Long, unbroken focus. Outlined my purpose and drive to wake up. I wake up with ambition every single morning. This just like burning desire to get up and get after my life. It is the most amazing thing. I love it. I am so grateful every single day. Praise the Lord. I love waking up and getting after it. I have an online income. I get jacked and I am confident. Okay. Now, let's jump in. What is flow state? Well, for those of you who know, it's a mental state of being fully focused on an activity without any distractions or self-consciousness. Flow state is found in the area between anxiety and boredom. It's where the task at hand is just slightly more difficult than your ability to accomplish said task. Okay, so see right in the middle here, this is where your flow zone is. When the task is too difficult, you end up being where anxiety is at. If the task is just easy enough, and you aren't really being challenged in any capacity, you're in boredom. But when the task is just above your ability to accomplish it, you will enter flow state. Now, me, personally, I categorize flow state into two different sections, the natural state and the practice state. Now, natural state, you likely have experienced that at some point yourself. If you have a similar background to me, it happens somewhat randomly. It tends to be tied with your purpose, but you often don't realize you're in flow state till after the fact. Now, the portion of tied with your purpose, you will get into flow state and activities that you genuinely enjoy. Let's say you love to work on your garden 3 days a week. You go out there for a couple hours and you just completely lose track of time. That would be an example of tapping into somewhat of a flow state and working with your plants. It's often the natural portion is far and few between, and it is not viewed as a skill. This will often happen, let's say, to your average athlete who is playing their game and they are locked in, last 20 seconds of the game. Or this will happen to gamers where you are just completely flowing through whatever's happening. You get the play of the game, whatever, Call of Duty, you drop the best kill count at the end of the match, whatever it is. You understand what I'm talking about. It's when you're in the zone. Most likely you've experienced that before, but only the natural state. Now, what we are going to be discussing here is the practice state. This is done consistently with intent. This is used for sharpening a specific skill and maximizes your outputs with intention, okay? This isn't necessarily a mainstream idea yet. I think you can find it more on the far reaches of the internet. Some people will talk about flow state here and there, but I think this is something that has really been beneficial to my own life, and not that many people talk about flow state. Something else that's really interesting about flow state, the practice one specifically, you have to progressively overload. This is a skill that can be compounded and grown. Now, I don't know all the science behind developing the brain in flow state and flow state as a whole, but we're going to be talking about my esoteric methods to actually developing out a system for getting into flow state, the practice state of flow. Now, here is my routine. This is what I do consistently almost every single day. Kind of depends on if I'm not following my routine or not, working on business, whatever. This is my routine. It's about a 3-step process, I believe, to tapping into flow state. Step number 1, fasting. So after about 12 to 14 hours of fasting, your body starts burning ketones as fuel. Ketones are a very fuel-efficient source for the brain. So when you're fasted, your body isn't running on glucose for energy, okay? Usually your body's running on glucose. That's kind of breads, sugars. I think vegetables create glucose. Could totally be wrong with that. But generally, your body is using those foods to run on glucose, okay? So the very first step to creating an environment that enhances focus is to fast. Okay, so when your brain is running on ketones and you are fasted and there's no extra energy being diverted to digestion, because that does take energy and body power to digest food. If you are not using extra energy for that, it gives your body more power to use brain function. Now, I would not recommend fasting every day, all day long, and not eating food. This is not what I'm saying here. This is using fasting with intention to allow yourself to work at a higher level or to lift at a better skill level or to output at your sport at a better level. It's intentional usage of fasting. I primarily use fasting for my flow state activities, as in my first 4 hours of the day are devoted entirely to deep work, and that's why we have that 12 to 14 hour period right there. So this example is finish eating dinner, let's say 6 p.m. the night before. Then the next morning, you start your flow state work around 6 to 7 a.m. So you're going to be right in that 12 to 13 hour fasting range. You are going to be absolutely locked in. Your brain is going to be functioning at its best level, and you're going to be working hard in flow state. It's amazing. Working on fasting allows you to actively get into your brain function faster. So that's why I love and I always recommend fasting for your flow state deep focus sessions. Now, an added bonus in the mornings of doing this is, as a man, this doesn't really go for the ladies. So if you're watching this as a woman, I don't know, I can't really help you, but I speak from my own experience. Your testosterone levels are highest first thing in the morning, okay? Right about here. See, about 6 a.m. Look at that. Your testosterone peaks first thing in the morning. This is a bro science way of saying, get after it. That's what your test hormone is doing. This can really help enhance with your focus first thing in the morning. It's pretty a straightforward step. Have breakfast after you're done doing your work. It could be a 2-hour work session. It could be a 2-hour training session, whatever that may be. Whatever you're using flow state for, primarily for work, I highly recommend that. But as soon as you're done, go have food. That's totally fine. Just don't eat first thing in the morning. Have a meal after your flow state session, and your focus levels will improve. I promise you that. The brain functions at such a higher level when it's fasted and there's no extra energy being diverted to the wrong areas. Now, black coffee. I am the biggest supporter in black coffee. Let me get a sip of my water here because I need to, I can rant about this all day. Black coffee has changed my life. It is a double boost when it comes into flow state and enhancing focus. So let's build on the actual previous stated step of getting into a fast, right? Your body is functioning off of ketones. Your brain is now locked in and working at its highest level possible. Black coffee will take that and absolutely skyrocket your ability to work. Now, I am talking specifically, no sweetener or milk, okay? You need to make sure whatever items that you add to coffee, it doesn't break your fasted state, okay? Whatever you do, maybe you have some electrolytes, which I'm drinking right here, before you do your work session. That will be beneficial too because it doesn't break you from a fasted state. Black coffee will absolutely turn into jet fuel in your ability to focus. So you will maintain all the previous benefits of step 1 with the added benefits of caffeine. Now, for those of you who don't know what caffeine actually does in your body, it blocks the adenosine receptors in the body. So here's what it looks like normal, right? Adenosine receptor, blah, 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 blah. Coffee hops in. Adenosine basically is what makes you feel sleepy, right? It inhibits your ability to focus. And what we're doing with flow state is trying to maximize our ability to focus, because that's how you get into flow state. So what we do is we have our caffeine. Black coffee doesn't break us out of flow state. It literally blocks the neurotransmitter that makes you lose focus. Why would you not take advantage of that? Black coffee has so many other benefits. I don't think I listed them here, but there was a study that I saw recently that was done that people who drank black coffee were associated with having a longer lifespan. So go check that out too. Like, there is tons of data. Black coffee has built the world as a whole. Maybe not black coffee, but coffee as a whole has built the world that we see it today. Insane to think about the actual effects that it has, even like post-industrial revolution. That's a whole other side rant, but black coffee, so useful. It turns you into an absolute weapon of productivity, turns you an absolute weapon in the gym. Get in there, get that energy boost, let your mind just completely dial in on the task at hand. It's incredible. So useful for getting into flow state. The higher levels of focus in the moment allow us to tap into flow state and function in the brain. Black coffee is also just great first thing in the morning. As you know, everyone drinks their coffee in the morning. So switch to black coffee. Suck it up if it tastes bad. You feel like a cowboy. It's the coolest thing ever when you go to a coffee shop and you're like, let me get a cold brew. Let me get some espresso. Let me get a drip coffee. You are the coolest person when you order from a coffee shop. I guarantee it. I have worked at a coffee shop before. I know exactly what that's like to see the dude who comes in and only orders black coffee. Everyone's favorite. Now, nasal breathing. Those of you who understand the benefits of nasal breathing, you know how important this is. When you nasal breathe throughout the beginning stages of your childhood and create that as an actual habit, your face literally becomes more structured. This is what a mouth breather looks like. And I know mouth breather is an insult and nasal breathing is kind of a joke because mewing, whatever. But there's genuine science that backs this up. Let me get some more of my electrolytes. Nasal breathing is phenomenal. It is so useful. It helps build up so many facets of your brain. Let's talk about it. So your brain lights up with proper oxygen intake. Taking a look over here on the side. The goal with nasal breathing is to maximize your ability to focus. Breathing will have one of the biggest impacts on your ability to tap into flow state. Now, stay with me here. We're going to go through a block of text, but the information I'm about to give to you is so helpful. It is so beyond helpful. So, more oxygen to the brain is more brain power. Duh. Everyone knows that. Breathing is good for you. We have to do it every 3 minutes or else you die. I have done tons of research and have been looking into how the brain is affected during flow state, and here is a personal theory that I'm working on. Now, I am no master of this science. I am just simply synthesizing the information I have learned and giving it to you guys, but here's a theory, something you could take yourself, and potentially it might help you out in your journey. But during the beginning phase of a focused activity, before the state of flow, the prefrontal cortex is activated. The prefrontal cortex is associated with having higher order cognitive functions such as planning, decision-making, and working memory. The prefrontal cortex is important to staying focused, but it doesn't induce flow. Okay, so let me explain why this is very important. Flow state happens when you've gone so deep into the task at hand that your prefrontal cortex tunes down and your self-reflection portion is gone. This is the moment that you are completely lost in the activity because that prefrontal cortex is tuned way down. This is called transient hypofrontality. Now, that is a big, crazy word. I'm still learning about this concept myself, so I'm adding that caveat. But after doing research, this is what I believe what happens. To put it in a simple ways, your ego is gone and you only exist in the task. That is why nasal breathing, fasting, black coffee, all of those things induce intense levels of focus. You're locked in. And after a certain point, there's a tipping point. There's a tipping point where you are completely lost in the task at hand. And that is where that is where the ability you want to wake up every single day to go experience this. I literally get excited every single morning to go tap into flow state during my work sessions because it is so beautiful. I cannot describe to you how amazing it is to be lost in a flow state working on something you are so passionate about. It is unreal to experience that, and I wish every viewer who's watching this will one day get to experience that. Now, with that, we want to be doing deep nasal breathing as it helps oxygenate your brain to help plunge you deeper into flow state. Not only does nasal breathing help with flow state, but it's also a healthier function. It's healthier for your body to function. Like I said previously, nasal breathing filters your air, strengthens your lungs, and helps structure your facial muscles. This is just the tip of the iceberg for breathing. I could spend hours talking about that. So if you guys want a separate video on that, drop a request down in the comments. Say, hey, I want to hear the breathing video. Teach me more about that. Perfect. Step 4, noise reduction. So this is the final piece. I know we said we had 3 steps earlier. I forgot about step 4, but final piece. This is the final piece, controlling the audio input. Honestly, this is more subjective in my opinion than anything else. All you really need to do is wear noise-canceling headphones. The intention here is obviously to reduce the noise intake and allow your brain to focus more. For me personally, I will play music without lyrics and words because that tends to break my focus very easily. I'll listen to like house music. I will listen to Skyrim. I would highly, highly, highly recommend listening to Macro Blank on YouTube. This guy drops albums every couple of months, maybe every 2 months or so, where it's like 45 minutes to an hour of just music that helps you plunge into flow state. At least for me personally. Like I said, it is subjective. Some people can lock in with Minecraft music and work for hours, right? For me personally, Minecraft music doesn't work. It takes me to a nostalgic time to when I was a kid and I start focusing on the music. Can't do it. So all of this stuff, literally, I am writing that right there. I was listening to his music as I was making this entire flow state video and compiling it together. It is so incredible what that music does. But I would highly recommend getting some noise canceling earbuds. Allow that to let you lock in and focus and not get distracted from the task at hand and block out the extra incoming sounds that will break your focus. More electrolytes. So, what's next? Well, if you found any of this content useful, click the link below. Check out my school program. In there, we go over how to build a social media business and make money while doing it. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love for you to check it out. Take a look. It is building. It is growing. We have a couple members in already. It's been great so far. I love it. I love teaching you guys how to build businesses. This is somewhat relating to business. This is how to maximize your ability to build a business, but it's a concept I'm very, very passionate about. So if you found any of this content interesting and you were looking to maximize your business outputs, because a lot of you do follow me for the business content I post about, make sure to go check out the Funnel Collective, learn a little bit more. It's a group of young men. We love what we're doing there, and we are building something incredible. So go check it out. It is most likely on sale right now if you are clicking on it around the date when this video is posted. So go take a look. Appreciate you guys watching this and spending a solid 18 minutes with me. Much love. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, make sure to like. And I have a value offer trade for you. If you did find any piece of information, any small little piece of information, valuable, helpful, useful, made you laugh a little bit, whatever. If you got absolutely anything from this video, subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. That is my offer trade. I put together all this valuable information to you. If you found value from it, that means you got to subscribe. Okay? Deal? Click the subscribe button. This is me offering that chance. But if I didn't give you any value and you didn't learn anything and you didn't find this video entertaining, but you watched all 19 minutes of it, don't subscribe. Okay? That's how the market works. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Check out the Funnel Collective. I will see you guys in the video next week. I'm doing weekly posts now. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.